I am the Assistant Director for the Career Development Center, and I am here with my colleagues Ileana and Sandra, and we're going to give you a very brief overview this morning. We'll have about 15 minutes to tell you everything we do, but then we are also going to give you a good chunk of time for questions, because we know that's a really important piece to it all. So my role as Assistant Director is to focus on the idea of career education, because the things that your students are learning are not things that are just a one-time happening. They are going to be using these things, these skills, for the rest of their life. Whether they're promoted within a company and have to redo interviews, whether they relocate, they want to get into another industry, they decide to go back to grad school, all of these things are the skills that we are teaching them that they're going to continue to use. So we really try to get them to understand the thinking of an employer more than just this is how we do it right now. How does an employer think? So I'm going to share a little bit of that with you at this moment. So in our job search workshop that we host several times a semester, tell your students to go, we go over the idea of how employers hire, because it's really important to get into the employer's mindset. And what I'm going to show you is the new data that was just released this year. So it's all of 2011. So the employers like to hire, first and foremost, from within. Then they like to have proof. Then they'll go to referrals if none of that worked. Finally, maybe an advertisement. And maybe at the bottom, they'll consider some of those resumes that just came in unsolicited. So within. For your students, what this means is that internships are incredibly important. And so Ileana, in just a few moments, is going to really talk about our internship program and why that's really important for your student. Employers like to hire from within for several reasons. Some of you probably have done that already with your own companies, but this person already knows the company culture. They already know all those small little details, like which refrigerator you're supposed to use. The learning curve is much shorter for an internal hire. And they've had a chance to prove themselves. So the employer knows they're going to do a great job. Internships are one way, but I know I had to work in undergrad because I had to actually make a little bit of money. So if your students need to have a job, consider helping them find a job, even if it's a part-time role answering phones in their company of interest, because they're in the door. All of those things are still happening, and they have resource and access to all of these people now, so they can really learn a lot about the industry. Also, just volunteering as they're doing class projects and work. Sometimes they're going to have to do real-world class projects. So if they go out to a company that they're really interested in and volunteer this, say, I'm doing this class project, it's a business analysis, it's a graphic design, logo, whatever it is, it's social media. We have some wonderful classes in the business school on social media. Whatever it is, have them volunteer that to an actual company, because now that's a way of getting them into the company. Second way is with proof. And I have a great story about this, but a lot of times you hear this referred to as a portfolio, and people think, well, my student's not an art student, what do they need a portfolio? Portfolio is a collection of their best work. No matter what major they are, no matter what industry they want to get into, you want them to collect their best work. It's like my mom used to do when I was in elementary school, and I had that box under my bed that had all the great things that I was doing, and I think it's still under my bed at home somewhere. But it's like that. You want them to collect that, and you want them to collect it online so they can find it. I have a good friend, Gabe, who is a computer animator, and he was working just, under people, decided he was going to make a fan video for his favorite band, and he worked 4 months after work putting together really great video and just put it on his Vimeo site. The band saw it, and they tweeted it. And then Campbell's Soup saw it. He has now done a Campbell's Soup entire campaign. He just finished an Uncle Ben's campaign. It's the one, if you see, it's like got a piece of rice that like flies through, and it's like the joy of being a piece of rice. I'm not quite sure, but it's really cool. And it's all just because he put proof out there of his skills. And if you're putting stuff online, just remind your students that it doesn't ever go away, so it needs to be your best work. All right, as far as a referral, we host several networking events here on campus. And Sandra's going to talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But you also want your students to start thinking about professional organizations. And at this moment, they're thinking, well, I'm not in the industry yet. They're not going to let me in. Professional organizations love to bring students in. They want to continue and to teach. And so they love it so much, they offer student discounts to be a member. And this is a great way for them to learn more about the industry and to meet local people who are already in the industry that can serve as that referral. Now, if an employer still hasn't found anyone after all this, they might resort to putting an advertisement up. This comes from personal experience. Please do not let your children use Monster Career Builder or Craigslist for this. Those are not regulated. You do not know who is posting. And I had a horrible experience where I went and it was an interview and they actually dropped me off in a city doing door-to-door stuff, sales in my interview suit. It was awful. So I don't recommend that. What I do recommend are either the employer's own website, they will have their own stuff there, or Panther Connect, which is our database. We do go through our database and make sure they're legitimate employers with legitimate offers. And those employers are specifically looking for Chapman students, so your Chapman student is getting better odds out of all of that. And last but not least, they could send in a resume, and we have, every day, we have drop-in hours called Quick Questions, and they can come in with their resume, and we can go over that and make sure it's perfect. So for you, the important thing to tell your students is that just those bottom two, those could be done instantly. They can be done in your last semester. You can make that work. But the big three that really make things happen, those aren't instant. Those take time. Those take work. And so it's important that you start encouraging them to think about these networking opportunities we have on campus, maybe joining a professional organization once they solidify what they want to do. You want them to think about gathering all of their great work for a portfolio, maybe even purchasing our Nicholas Mayer, a wonderful social media professor, says that every student should buy their domain name. So it should be like, I should buy AndreaKanise.com, and you can put all your stuff on there. Because employers, 82% of employers are going to Google you. So if they Google you and that's what they get, it looks really great. And it's only like $4.99 a year to own that, so it's not even expensive. But you just really want to encourage them to start doing these things now so that they are prepared when the time comes and aren't scrambling. And last but not least, I just have a couple of resources for you. I would love to say that you should buy What Color Is Your Parachute for your students and have them read it, but they probably won't read it. So what I'm going to say is you should buy What Color Is Your Parachute and read it and share that information with your students. Because Richard Bowles, this is the 40th year of that book, and they update it every single year. Because the employment trends, they fluctuate. It's not the same as it was 40 years ago. And he updates that and takes all of that into consideration, all of the new data. So you can check out his newest, Bowles, B-O-L-L-E-S, is his last name? He's got the 2012 book out with really great information. Other thing is a website called California Reality Check. If your students want to stay, there's great stuff on there for just general information as well. But if your students want to stay in California, it's a very fun reality check where you go through and it asks you these questions like, what kind of food do you want to eat? What kind of place do you want to live in? Where do you want to live? And it tells you how much you'd actually have to make to live like that. I'm still about 20,000 short, but I'm getting closer. But it's really cool. They also have some just general information about occupations and about, kind of the salary piece to it that they all want to know. So I am now going to turn it over to Ileana, but if you have questions, keep them written down. And after Sandra talks, we can go over all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. It's so wonderful that we have a strong team of career educators to really present the foundation of career development in our center. And I'm so excited to be here today and share the internship program, which is my area of focus in our center. It's a real distinguishing feature of Chapman University in terms of the way we offer personalized education. And just to briefly introduce myself, first of all, it's I've been here nearly 10 years, and I was inspired to join Chapman after I saw my brother attend and just thrive. He became a straight-A student for the first time in his life, not because it was easy, but because he was surrounded by talent. And now, since he's graduated with a film degree, he continues to collaborate with his peers that he connected with at Chapman. He's won an award in a film festival that brought his creative work to the Tate Modern in London and the Louvre, which is nothing we signed up for when we brought him to Chapman or encouraged him to go, and when he finally made the decision. So every day is inspiring here, and my favorite thing to do is partner with students to build their capacity and find the connections that are a match so that they can thrive for life in their career. And everything that we're presenting today is essentially a tool that they can bring with them for life. So we really like to put them in the driver's seat, as Sandra is going to explain to you in a little bit. So the internship program here at Chapman is credit-bearing. It's unique in the sense that it's a four-way partnership between the faculty, the student, the site supervisor, and our center to facilitate a work-learn experience that they can earn academic credit. It's year-round, and they can actually complete degree requirements for graduation. And part of this feature is that they can earn a competitive transcript for grad school. Having the chance for all majors to earn academic credit and put an internship on your transcript will set you apart in a competitive manner from other applicants to grad school where universities don't offer that program. And we're pretty distinct in the fact that we offer this to all majors and even minors in emphasis areas. Exploration is definitely a benefit of the internship program. Students get to decide what they do want to do and what they don't want to do. And if they are able to make these decisions before they graduate, that can be priceless. Of course, it also helps you to build many other career tools in terms of self-confidence, networking contacts, skills, and vocabulary, which is great for interviews when you're speaking about your concrete evidence that you have to share and the industry jargon. So in terms of how you earn credit, the student has the chance to select a faculty of choice. That's the faculty within the department they hope to earn credit, and that's maybe someone they would like to build networking contacts with, or maybe they like that faculty from a class experience and would like to gain more mentorship from them personally. They meet with the faculty as needed throughout the term and gain feedback, which is the theoretical foundation of experiential learning, that feedback loop, which is established by the four-way partnership between the student, the faculty, the site supervisor who does a performance evaluation, and our center who's also managing the work-learning experience. Networking is a benefit. They also get that from the faculty. As I mentioned, our faculty are a wealth of networking contacts and letters of recommendation for if they would like to go to grad school or apply for a job. The sky is the limit. Students are not limited to our resources in terms of what we offer for internship opportunities in our center. Panther Connect is a great portal. We'll speak about that in a little bit, or you can come to our website and learn more. Panther Connect is a portal designed specifically for employers to seek Chapman students, and students can go there so they have a competitive edge. There's also additional search engines for a range of other resources where you don't have to get involved with the unregulated sites so much. You're welcome to hire Chapman interns yourself, or the students can use your own family network to get a credit-bearing internship as well. Site supervisor support is great because they do a performance evaluation with the student, share that feedback. It's very constructive, a very positive learning experience. It's nice to have an evaluation, a performance evaluation before you graduate. Many students in the world of work might not have ever had that in their first job before without an internship. And here's just, if we haven't convinced you yet about how great the internship program is and how it can really engage your student and help them to make career decisions before they graduate, these are just some tips that we want you to walk away with, that internships really can make a difference for the lifetime of the career. So at Chapman, we have a culture where we encourage students to do 2 or 3 internships before they graduate. So maybe talk to your students, see where they are at. If you're not sure, ask them and talk to them about a timeline when they can factor this in, and networking contacts to get that student going on the road to success in terms of networking and internship experience. And after all of this, it's who you know. So we invite you to hire Chapman interns. We invite you to share your network with your students to get them started. We also have plenty of resources in our office, and one way to connect with us is what, through our events, through our services, and our opportunities that we have throughout the year. And Sandra's going to speak more about those right now. So thank you so much.
Oh, we got Andrews. Thank you. Hello, hello. Thank you all so much for being here. Let me make sure I got the buttons right. So I'm Sandra Roby, and I am also the parent of a sophomore here at Chapman University. So if you see a young man walking about a foot off the ground every day, because he is just so happy to be here, and I hope that your students all, find the same joy in walking around on campus and being part of the Chapman community. So I am here and a graduate of recently from Brandman University's Master's in Organizational Leadership. And in the Organizational Leadership Program, we talk all about transitions and change. And so I have just been thinking about all of this so much, and now working with your students to help them to transition into their new places. It's really a wonderful thing to be in this place. I realize what a precious, precious space and time this is for people's lives. But I remember when I was your students' age, the word career was something that frightened me so much. I don't know if you have parents that for them, their career was starting now and 30 years from now, they're exiting their job and grandkids and babies, and I was thinking, oh no, a career, it's now until death. It's the old ball and chain, and that was something I did not want to do. I resisted it with all I could. So I looked up the word career in the dictionary, and career actually comes from the Middle French word carrière, which means road. And road, also some synonyms are vocation, calling, work, livelihood. And I like the word journey that people have. When I talk about a career as your journey, I can do that. That's fun and adventure. It's not something from here until the end of my life. And so it feels like living your life. And so part of what I hope to instill in the students when they come to speak with us is that this is your life's journey. This is the adventure of your life. And the choices that you make now don't have to be now until forever. Because the truth is today, people often change jobs and careers, entire careers, every 2 or 3 years. So preparing your student for the adventure of their life is what we're hoping to help them gather the tools for. And so if the road of your life is the foundation for your decisions that you make, that's based on the values. And at any time your values can be ranging from I just need to have a job, or I'm really looking to search a new career, the decisions that you're going to make, that road is the values that you're on. And you yourself are the car on your journey. And car from carrière, I get that all now, that's so much fun. And so you can, your journey, your car can be anything. It's your mode of transportation. So I have a Volkswagen bus, that's a fun, happy thing for me. But your mode of transportation could be a helicopter, it could be a motorcycle, it could be a kangaroo at any time in your journey. You can change vehicles. And so we encourage students to recognize that the world is bigger than what they are just thinking. But if we're using the metaphor of a car, in looking for your job search, you need 4 wheels. The first 2 wheels are your experience and education. And that's, pretty much what you're getting here at Chapman University. Your experience and your education are coming together. But what's also really important is your personal presentation and your association and relationships. As Andrea just mentioned, the top tier that employers are making decisions to hire from are people who are in front of them. They're people that they know. So the internships and relationships that you develop are key to opening the door. I can tell you right now that I'm working here at Chapman University because of people I knew from other experiences that I had that brought and enriched the Chapman University experience. So right now there are people that you know and people who know people who might be connected to folks that are related to the job or the experiences that your students want to have. So I encourage you to look into those folks and to see who you might know that can help to open a door, maybe not for your student, but maybe for another Chapman student. We have, the film school, the physical therapy department, all our different majors. If there's somebody you know that's in a position that could help to bring an intern into their fold, that is huge. That is a major thing, and that is one thing that I'm working to help our students to discover is how to learn to present themselves, because that's not a curriculum thing. That's something that changes every day, because a suit and tie going to interview for an IBM might be the winning ticket, but if you're going to interview at an action sports industry, or if you're going to interview in film or some other way, that might be the ticket straight out saying, you don't get our culture. So it's really important to learn how to read your culture and to present yourself well and appropriately for the dream that you have. So those are some of the things that we start to explain to our students and hope that they begin to practice. We tell them to practice. Go see how it works. You know, it's not going to be, you know, out of the park every time, so you're going to have to learn how to read the people that you're speaking with and to read the situation to ultimately get to success. And then as part of that opportunity to give students an experience, we have several projects that are going on during the year, but coming up on March 13th, Tuesday, right here in Ardress Forum downstairs in our ballroom, if you get a chance to go take a look at that today, we have our More Career Expo. And we have stellar employers who are specifically seeking Chapman students coming to Chapman University. Angels Baseball, some names that you've probably heard. You know, Angels Baseball, DreamWorks, the FBI, Freedom Communications, Orange County Register, and some names that you may not have been familiar with. Ingram Micro, Target, Think Together. And what we're also helping to show our students is that some of these names you may recognize, Target around the corner, but most folks might not recognize. The Target has stores in Canada and in India, that each of these employers that we selected, we wanted to give them a breadth of starting your dream here could lead you to global relationships and opportunities. So I have in my pocket right here a few of these more flyers, little packets. So if you want to hand some out and take some and share those with your students, just to remind them that this is coming up right now. And we encourage the students to come and practice. I'm calling it a spintro. You've heard of the 1-minute elevator speech? Well, I call it, it's a combination between introduction and spin. So it's an introduction with a career or goal spin. And it goes simply like this. Hi, I'm Sandra Roby. I am in the Career Development Center at Chapman University, and I am studying organizational leadership, and I'm working to become a career development counselor. Students get really tongue-tied about saying those words. It's so big and grown up and seems so outrageous to say your dream out loud. But we want them to practice that every day, and to practice it in front of people who have the power to put them in positions that can help them to realize their dreams. And in fact, we're going to be having a Spintro campaign on campus, so we're going to be wearing buttons that say Spin Me, and any student that comes up and does their Spintro, they're going to get a little prize right away. So that's all that we're trying to do, and I tell them, everywhere you go, you say that to make your dream happen. So does that sound reasonable and real? That's what we got to do. So we're opening up for questions now. I hope that this was some fun information for you to have. If you have any ideas that could help us to get your students in front of employers and to help to realize their dreams, we would love to hear your ideas. Yes?
Do you go and give your spiel about the Career Center to any of the classrooms or organizations, to the actual students?
Yes,
I tell mine all the time, get in there, and you know, it's...
Well, something to keep in mind is that our Career Center has been revamped.
Okay.
So we actually, us as a team, has started since January. Hopefully we've fooled you all, and we've been together for a really long time.
We've got great plans and great ideas, and that's one of the things we want to do.
So we have been going out. We started with student government and some of the clubs, and then we've been working with classrooms and getting presentations in front of classrooms.
That's awesome.
And we're also looking at starting our own, calling it maybe like a club on campus, so that students, anybody can come and, you know, can share information for people, because you know how it is, some students are ready for it, some students aren't. And so, you know, if they're in the middle of a job search and then they can fall off. So, you know, an idea that, you know, a center where people can come in as they need and, you know, go on, but it would be open discussion. So we're working on something like that. So, yes.
In reference to internships, I have a quick question. My student would like to get a summer internship, and in order for her to get academic credit, do I have to pay the summer school tuition? Thank you.
Yeah, time for one more question. Yes?
There are some, my daughter's a film student, and there are some avenues where you can actually have a paid internship. Now, I understand that maybe they won't allow you to have, you can't double dip, maybe. You can't have actual credit.
Oh, yes, you can.
You can?
You can credit and get paid.
You can.
But it just depends on
They have them at ABC, they've got them at the Television Academy, they have different places.
Those are plum internships. Yes, and so they are available, but not every studio can afford to make them happen.
So you can actually get credit for something
while you're being paid. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, unfortunately, we are out of time, but we will be at the reception that happens at 12:30. So please just come find us at the reception. We'd be happy to answer all of your questions.
And I'll bring some more. I'll go run upstairs and bring some more for all of you. Okay? Thank you very much.